through Sarawak Alteration of Boundaries Order in Council 1954. So the boundary extend up to the continental shelf to cover the seabed and subsoil in the continental shelf. That is sampai tebing benua negeri Sarawak. Continental shelf is tebing benua in bahasa. So it is more than 200 nautical miles. Yeah, you know, actually when we went to London to do our research, so we went to the British National Archive at the Kew, London, me and my team of 7 lawyers. When we go to London, we found this document. We found this record, the Queen's Order in Council 1954, and also the maps of Sarawak back then, where the British conferred our boundary up to the continental shelf. So these are among one of the many important documents that we found and we brought back to Sarawak. This is a very crucial document with the maps and everything, with the original Queen's Order in Council in the British Archives in Kew. So these are the basic laws. It's very clear that everything is clear. The land law, we know the boundaries up to the continental shelf, and you know what OMO is about, to regulate operation of oil and gas in Sarawak. But OMO 1958 was a pre-Malaysia law. OMO was legislated before the formation of Malaysia. Sebelum Malaysia ditandatangani, OMO was formed. So in other words, it is formulated or legislated before the existence of Malaysia. Yeah? However, as I mentioned earlier on, when Malaysia was formed in 1963, Malaysia Agreement must be read together with Malaysia Act 1953 and also the Federal Constitution. We must read the documents together. So Section 73. Excuse me, I have some drinks. Do you follow what I'm saying here? I'll try to be as clear as possible and as simple as possible. Section 73 of the Malaysia Act 1963 and Clause 2C of 9th Schedule of Federal Constitution clearly states that OMO and any other Sarawak laws are still valid, and these laws are made laws of Malaysia, dijadikan undang-undang dalam negara Malaysia by virtue of Section 73 of Malaysia Act and the Federal Constitution. But of course, these laws only are applicable in Sarawak and enforceable in Sarawak. So even though OMO is a pre-Malaysia law, tapi dijadikan undang-undang di dalam negara Malaysia, so it will be a valid and good law. It was never repealed. Yeah? So history has it that in 1969, after kita sign Malaysia Agreement, the country faced turbulence in 1969. So in 1969, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong declared a state of emergency in Malaysia. I think most of the senior people would know what happened in 1969. A state of emergency was declared. So in times of emergency, all laws are suspended, tergantung, suspended, including our OMO. Meaning when it is suspended, it cannot be enforced, it's not applicable. OMO was only suspended but never repealed or nullified because of the emergency. So this is very clear. Again, OMO was never nullified. It was only suspended. However, during emergency, 1969 emergency, 5 years after declaration of emergency, in 1974, Orang Melayu to very smart people. So during after emergency 69, in 1974, when Malaysia was still in the state of emergency, the Malaysian Parliament sat down and passed a very important act of Parliament. Until today, it is a matter of concern for us. They passed an Act of Parliament called the Petroleum Development Act 1974. In short, I will call it PDA 74. What is PDA 74? PDA gives full exclusive rights to Petronas. Petronas is a company formed as a result of PDA 74. So PDA gives full exclusive rights to Petronas to explore, to mine, to obtain benefit from oil and gas activities in Malaysia, including in Sarawak. This law is a valid law because it is an act of parliament. Yeah? It is passed by a sitting valid parliament. So PDA 74 is a valid law, even though we might question it, but in terms of legality, it is a valid law. It's passed by parliament. So in 1974 until today, PDA controls. PDA gives Petronas the power and authority to control the fully operation of oil and gas in Malaysia. However, in 2011, the then Prime Minister, Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak, ended the emergency. The whole, I think, other speakers will go into detail. I'm just focusing on my OMO here. So, the 2011, Datuk Sri Najib ended emergency. Thus, OMO, when the emergency ended, OMO is no longer suspended. So it remains a valid law and a good law and can be used and can be enforced. That is to regulate operation of oil and gas in Sarawak. We never use and enforce OMO. So only after 2011, we see that it can be enforced and can be used. When we did our research, when we were asked by the Chief Minister to do research on our rights, on our oil and gas rights, when we did our research, we discovered this, that there is a law, a state law which is good, which is valid, which was never repealed, but we never enforced that. So when we see that, this is a very, very good law and this is our right to enforce OMO. Because of that, the government decided to enforce it and to notify Petronas of our intention to enforce OMO. For information of all, in PDA itself, Section 8 of Petroleum Development Act never excluded Petronas from complying with OMO and the Sarawak Land Code. Maksudnya, Section 8 PDA itself says that Petronas must comply to laws or regulation at places where they operate. So if they operate in Sarawak, they have to comply with Sarawak laws. This is logical. If Petronas do operation in Iran, they have to comply with the Iranian local laws. If Petronas have operation in Canada, they have to comply with the Canadian local laws. If they have operation in wherever, in Nigeria, they have to comply with the local laws in Nigeria. They cannot say they can't. Likewise, if they want to operate in Sarawak, they have to comply with our local laws like OMO and our land code. So because of that, in April last year, in April 2018, in the efforts of getting back our rights,